So in this one, we are going to be doing my Dragon Ball Legends Summer Festival Part 1, because you will be getting most likely a new unit within the furtherment of this festival here. Top 10 tier list, with it obviously being the main man himself of Ultra Cooler, and he has made some significance in this. But just to mention real quick, the honorable mentions, I do think there is some that are valid here to even talk about, and even units that aren't there, but like could be there. Of it being, let's say, Purple Revhan, and you'll notice a trend within these characters, Orange Piccolo, and because I'm assuming he's like not terrible in A tier, right? Not terrible, and like Legend Bardock, right? Those are like some talk about units, and you'll even see them here of Goku Bardock and Metal Cooler. I think all these units actually having the same premise of themselves, being a safety that's a genuine safety against Ultra Cooler, because Ultra Cooler is definitely wreaking havoc right now in PvP. Is going to be something of value that you can mention and just say like, hey, maybe you could run one of these guys and things won't be the worst that you assume they'd be. It's just that all these units are subpar. Goku Bardock are subpar in their nature, despite how many cycles they can get on their team with like a Boo duo. Just not great. Metal Cooler's Metal Cooler, we all know that, even though he's S tier boosted. Still not ideal. Again, Orange Piccolo, Revhan, LR Bardock. It's all just not great. But from the ones that kind of can be selected, I actually do think Metal Cooler is decent enough to where if you were to run him, you were not going to have the worst time for yourself. Obviously, you could run him alongside Mr. Cooler, and then you can run like Android 13, 17 Frieza, UGB. Oh, there's a lot of movies on this list, by the way, because it's very good units right now. And it's been for, well, since the anniversary, frankly. But you can see there, Metal Cooler just could help. It just, again, no one's going to talk about these units, so I'll just mention them here. And then Goku Bardock, similar vein to where, like, okay, they're half blue. They can be good against, some of these reds. They're half green. There's some a little bit going on of blue units here, so nothing too crazy, and again having that safety merit to where you can actually kind of define them to be something of notoriety at least. But that's honorable mentions. You don't give a shit about that. Let's get into the top 10 tier list, with it being number 10 of TGB. And I just wanted to talk about this guy before we get into it because he is obviously the partnership with TGB. Legend Rose, I'm sorry, I've seen you recently, and this will be a reason why TGB does go down actually. But your damage is just not it. You're taking a bit too long. You're getting numeric. I mean, that's just life. It's been a couple months for you, and you're getting numeric. And frankly, you did better than I thought. The anniversary happened. I thought by part 2 you'd be gone, but you were still cooking and frying. And now, well, you're gone now. But still, you were doing your thing for the time you had. TGB though, number 10, because there's really nothing for him anymore. Obviously, I'm going to just mention this the entire video of, well, how do I deal with Ultra Cooler? Because Ultra Cooler will just get his release gauge, rush, and then kill an endurance unit. And most of this list is endurance, and then endurance, and then endurance, and then moving on from there, every single team you're probably going to run at least 1 to 2 to maybe even forcing a third safety merit for your team, and that's what we're doing before Cooler. Well, if you're one of those units that were endurance safety, you were just having lesser and lesser value for yourself. And TGB kind of had it where he was sustaining very well, doing pretty solid damage on his numerics, still being, good enough. It's just, where do you even run him? He's inferior to Cooler. Him being inferior Cooler makes it where you're going to always run Cooler instead, so he just gets replaced on every team, whether it be leader slot or not. If you're going to run him on like a future team, I don't even know what you do. Like, you could do like Gohan, Trunks, and UVB, but now you even have less safety. You're probably going to deal with the likes of like a red Broly or green Broly alongside Cooler, Android 13, 17 Frieza. 17 Frieza could easily destroy Gohan, Trunks, UVB, and even there, you're on a squishy team because then Cooler just rushes to everything, kind of just like falls apart. There's really no roster for TGB to really fit and flow on. It's not like he's bad individually. He probably is better than a number 10 spot, but there's really there's no need for the character. There was more of a need when he was, this yellow that's tanking these reds, and he's doing good against UVB and Gohan, Trunks, and Red Broly and UGB and blah, 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 blah. That's awesome. That's great. Well, now that we have Cooler that could just destroy these said reds, and it's like, well, what do I need someone tanking them if I could just destroy them? It's just a bit easier to do that because Red Cooler, or rather, Ultra Cooler, is just as simplistic as he comes within his accessibility to destruction of every unit in the game that is not a further safety than endurance, which is majority of the units on this list, as you can see from here. So we move on from there, and actually, it starts to get rough from some of these guys. You're thinking like, wow, a lot of these should just be in the topper tiers and like higher spots, and it's like, yeah, but they're not. Ultra Boo Duo number 9. I'm sorry, but where in the hell do you run this unit? Right now, you would actually think on paper, because they could get the Spirit Bomb and have that accessibility to the revival essence for themselves within Vegeta. You're in the Spirit Bomb. Okay, well, Vegeta could die, and like, yeah, sure, you're gonna get the Spirit Bomb off, but like, that's safety. You're not dead. I feel like you don't even get that half the time. I feel like you don't even run into this unit anymore. And it's just really a nothing factor a lot of times within their matchups. I mean, I'm trying to think of teams for them. Let's say you're going to do like a UVB thing and like, I don't know, Goku Bardock, and it's something like that, or a similar vibe to it. And I just don't feel like you're ever even going to use the Buu Duo. You're really going to see, let's see, 17 Frieza exists, so that's just going to be where you're not going to do much damage. You're going to see Legend Broly exist, and while they are Spirit Bomb Merchant for most of their existence, and that's pretty much more accurate now, you're seeing this unit way too frequent to even get the Spirit Bomb to kill half the time. While you're seeing Broly, you know, before that Spirit Bomb, Broly could just murder them because they do not have infinite defense neutral, right? Broly can just do that thing. And even from there, UVB can hurt them. This guy Broly has a lot of neutral in his own kit within the equipment, as well as his second main ability. Cooler obviously could just rush. Stardust Fall exists with this guy. Go on Trunks, you just fucking slam them with the multiple cards. Like, there's really nothing saving the Buu Duo here. Unfortunate for themselves within their aging. It's going really fast. Like, they went from number 1 to what, like number 4, and now they're going down to like a number 9 here. You know, they couldn't really move last tier list because there was no impact last tier list from that thing, which, by the way, clearly he's not on the list for some reason because he fucking sucks. Crazy. And, well, Ultra Yellow is insane. That has Nullify Endurance that can't be canceled when that thing released as what he is. But, you know, I digress from what Legends decides to think is a good idea or not. Buu Duo, though, they can work. It's not like any unit on this, you know, tier list, the top 10 tier list, doesn't work. I would say honorable mentions here. You can make them all work. It's just there's so much more effort to put into a Buu Duo than any unit on this bottom tier here. Like Andrew 13, okay, just click card support, and then you just live. And then his existence of living and having revival gives him more merit to the Buu Duo. 17 Frieza, you just literally exist and breathe. Broly, exist and breathe. Cooler, spam and then rush. Red Broly, spam. UVB, spam. Going Trunks, spam. Stardust Fall Merchant, Stardust Fall, like, that's it. Everything else is just easier. This unit has to, like, I gotta lug through taking these combos, make sure I don't die, make sure this, make sure that. I feel like I have to do a lot of more precautionary measures with the Buu Duo than I do any unit here. And when they actually do go for their damage inflicted, it's nothing outlandish unless they're Spirit Bombing. Even then, again, you're gonna run into this. You might even run into this. And I think as time progresses, you're going to see that Spirit Bomb look fraudulent and more fraudulent. Because if they don't stack, you will see that Spirit Bomb not do much, even against units that are not type advantage to them, which is definitely becoming more evident as time does surpass. So number 9 is the Buu Duo, and then we get into number 8. Yeah, it's not great for the guy. I think he's been super overrated by a lot of people, and I'm going to stick to that because he is UGB 2.0. While UGB 2.0 definitely is a very solid unit, and people are trying to run him with like a team of this, and I've seen something like this, and I'm like, okay, I don't really get it, but like UGB is definitely always the first sack off, so, you know, do your thing. I just don't see much to him besides the Stardust Fall. Obviously, I mentioned, yeah, he could go neutral against the Buu Duo, but like, that's just because he can do that. Like, it's green card and then spam the Buu Duo, then like, they get destroyed, right? Also from UGB. But, like, you don't have to care about that too much because Android 13's not most, you know, durable guy ever. He's just kind of stopping a cooler combo and having revivals, why he's being used more often. 17 Frieza, they're not the most durable unit ever, so, like, well, they won't take that much. Even then, I don't feel like you're going to even waste a green card with UGP, to be honest. If you're running that trio I just mentioned and or other teams with, like, Legend Broly, I probably want to use a green card with him instead. Go on Trunks Mono Red thing, I probably want to use a green card with them instead. Or even save for UVB to kind of get a counteract, get a blue card neutral from UVB, and just have him destroy everybody in the world. I don't even say you want to use it for that UGB guy here. But he does okay damage, but he's just being usurped by him. He's been like that. UVB has always been the superior since, well, the dawn of his equipment. And now I think, moving on, you'll actually see some talking points on Red Broly having utility for himself. Because UGB, the reason you could actually argue him a little bit higher is because the endurance, right? He's not just going to be dead, and, you know, Red Broly doesn't have endurance, Gohan Trunks don't have endurance, so it's like, okay, UGB can have more stock to him within that. Well, now, because Cooler doesn't give a fuck, like I'm going to mention the entire video, I could just rush, and then let's say you're running this team, and it's like, well, obviously he's dead first, because why would you kill UVB? Why would you kill Cooler? He would be your little comeback condition on that setting, especially if you didn't rush yet. UGB was the first one to die. Stardust Fall takes, what, 50 counts to get? Stardust Fall, while it can be effective for sure, I actually don't see it being proactive enough. You know, UVB doing his like 30 counts thing where he's just immune to everything, he just destroys the game. Obviously, he's going to be more superior. This Red Broly having the key immunity reduction, I feel as though within featured boost as well, where he's doing his numerics, is going to be definitely more superior because he has that lock-in kind of situation where they just head bonk, boom. Health store is at 0% for them because they 100% health store down, and you kind of get snipe out potential from there and even hurt like Red Broly. Like, this guy sniping Red Broly is definitely more effective than like a UGB Stardust Falling, or rather Ultra Cooler here. UGB is definitely less effective within that snipe potency, and again, Red Broly can do it faster. So his slowness of UGB is not helping. Obviously, the teams for UGB is definitely not it. Just looking at these units here, not a damn soul actually cares for UGB on the team. It's more like, okay, he's movies he could fit with like these three, but like these three is definitely not something because now you're relying on UGB as your main damage, and I just don't think that's a good thing to do for yourself. Not like he's bad, it's just I don't think you really need him on a team. And I don't think you've needed him on a team for a while, but people still run him. He's a fusion, I get it, but no, I don't think he's really worth running on your rosters as of current. Number 7, we go to Red Broly. Yes, Red Broly is back on featured. He actually had this when he first released of his unique equip, and that gives him the extra base stats, as well as 20% damage inflicted, as well as 10% damage guard. And while I don't think that really is propelling him to this degree, I think he was actually doing what he was doing already, because I used him before last season, and he was doing fucking amazing. I thought he was better than UGB last season, so now that he's on feature boost this season, he just gets better and better than what he once was. Cooler, obviously, again, releasing does make it where a unit that can kind of like do a snipe potency, whether it be a lock-in, whether it be the anti-switch thing of UUI that Red Broly has as well. It gives him more wanting to be run. Again, this guy can go neutral pretty effectively, so he can't hurt the likes of 17 Frieza because he just transforms, boom, he's neutral, boom, he pops second main, boom, he's neutral. Just don't do a big attack against cancel buff units, and then you just retain that neutral for this Broly. Definitely can soak hits a decent bit as well within having set extra boost stats for himself, but nothing too like overwhelming about him. Again, he can clearly snipe out units and do his job well, but that's really it. He has less utility than UGB, obviously totality-wise, but what he does to the top units, and Cooler, spoiler, will be one of the top units on this list, if not maybe the top unit on this list. He can get them out. Even go on Trunks. I actually think if you time Broly's gauge to get some cards and you do like, okay, this guy does a couple cards, then I wait to go on Trunks a little disrupt, destroying 2 cards, then I go to Broly, then I get his gauge, then I do more cards. The -2 card speed is not applied to Broly anymore because it went out because it's been 5 counts. Then Broly could snipe out even a Gohan Trunks, which is one of the best disruptors in the entire game right now. Despite no safety, they still have a really, really stupid disrupt. Like, of all these units, clearly Legend Broly, yeah, but like, Gohan Trunks are second to none within having a immaculate disrupt. You could argue it better than 17 Frieza at some points, because if they have overdrive, Gohan Trunks probably disrupt better than 17 Frieza because they are reducing ki. Well, obviously Gohan Trunks are reducing cards as well as card draw speed and all that bullshit as well. So Red Broly, super duper stock. I like seeing him up here again. This guy definitely deserved better within his time because you see how TGB was aging, and funny enough, Red Broly does make it above TGB here. Great for him, but it definitely won't last, unfortunately. I mean, I see both of them leaving top 10 lists very soon, but Red Broly can make it up here, and I like to see that for the man because he's, again, not bad. He just got kind of like UGB got. Like, he released, and it's like, okay, well, here's Gohan Trunks, and it's like, oh, well, why would I run Red Broly then? Gohan Trunks is clearly better. And this is UVB, and UGB already released, so why the fuck would I run UGB? UVB is newer and better because he got the new unique equip. So they got both kind of same fate, which, funny enough, they're the same spot basically. But I digress. Broly hits number 7 there of Mr. LF, and now we touch onto the number 6 of it being Legend Broly. Yes, I actually do think he goes down and up. He's a very interesting one to even discuss right now. Very simplistic of like Legends Limited Broly because, okay, red unit can snipe yellow unit and snipe others. Obviously, he's going to gain stock and gain value and blah, blah, blah. That's easy. Legend Broly is weird. People will argue he gained value, and I get the idea of that. I don't even disagree with it, actually. I get the idea of that because, yeah, no, Cooler's a yellow, green-yellow color synergy. If Broly's going to have a little bit of, like, a weird spot, it would just kind of be in a setting similar to that. But I also think he loses it because of what Cooler is. I've had it multiple times where I'm running Cooler, and while Broly can seal the rush for 15 counts per transformation, getting his gauge, and having his gauge fulfilled, which is 30 counts totality, and as well as sealing main abilities, I don't really experience a dilemma within that while running Cooler. I feel as though the oppression state Cooler supplies, sometimes you could get the rush while Broly's still in base if they don't do their perfect swaps and perfect timings and the Broly's not high enough stars. I've seen it where Broly's in Legendary Super Saiyan state, and then Cooler doesn't really give a fuck. Like, Cooler's going to tank the blue cards from Broly. He doesn't really take much damage from Broly blue cards in my experience, especially because people build Broly a lot more defensive than offensive, and I think actually building this guy more offensive is better out. I've actually recently, within double Broly from last season, I built this duoship of double offense, and this Green Broly was like, he was doing some crazy shit. I really recommend people build this guy offense, and then you'll see his blue cards like hit, and you can time it where you actually can optimize this Broly to where like you have 3/4 of his gauge built up, you take 2 cards, and then boom, you have some build up from getting hit, and then your blue card does a lot more than it would be just like, oh, you're raw coming in, you already have your gauge built up, you have no damage stacking, and now you're doing your transformation guarantee blue card. That definitely will not hurt the likes of units that are having these modernized damage numbers and damage guard numbers. Like, this guy will not get hurt. But if he has a few ramp ups from taking or doing and blah, 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 they blast you during it, and then you blast armor just to take the hit and do damage and get damage inflicted buffs. You can make Green Broly look better, but I digress from there. Love that word today. Broly, though, he could just be a victim to Cooler. I guess you could run a similar thing to this, but I just think the inferiority of this is that this is just better. Like, no one's going to debate you that 17 Frieza right now isn't better than Broly, so why would I do this? And you're going to be like, okay, but why is Android 13 here? Well, he's stopping 2 Cooler combos. Well, while Broly could do the same thing, he's doing it earlier on to where Cooler can't even get his Dragon Balls. We'll talk about Android 13 once we get to him, but that's what's really more palpable from Android 13. He does his first disrupt, which Cooler does get stopped by. He revives, which is a disrupt within itself, and boom. Okay, Android 13, sure, he's going to have some more utilities of like support and all that, but that's 2 disrupts that happen pretty early on in the match, and Cooler doesn't even have all the Dragon Balls. Well, sure, maybe the 3rd or 4th combo we can get it. That's a little bit later than the combos that Broly would have to take for Cooler to get a rush against him. So I actually do think Green Broly does dip down a bit of a ways. I think I had him 2-3 last list just because Kaioken didn't fucking do anything in life, and he's just a worthless sack of shit. But Cooler, man, I mean, I said it. If you have endurance, you probably won't go higher. You would just get worse. And units that have other safeties, and if they're, helped enough or boosted enough, they'll just gain more stock. And, very obviously, you can see who's not placed here. While they have, obviously, Sensei Frieza who have endurance, it's a bit of a different story for them. But it's super damage, safety-esque, general role. And then the God who's making all these units kind of have to be in line and be in check. Because you have to run teams right now. This is not a debate that have a safety or have more so of a safety on your team, or you're just going to get Cooler fooded. Like, it's just objectively what's going to happen. You can't stop his rush. You can't stop Cooler from doing his job, and you will take that rush, and you will die, and you'll be like, why did I just not run a safety instead of Red Broly, UGB, Boo Duo? Why did I just run a safety? Why didn't I just run fucking Metal Cooler instead of the Boo Duo, right? And you'll be saying that. You'll be like, and you'll see it. You'll see these units on these spots where you're seeing more Android 13s, you're seeing more Goku Bardock, you're seeing more Legend Bardock, you're seeing these units more. And there's a reason. This is the reason. So Legend Broly's got to go down for me. And then we get into the top 5 of Android 13. Yeah, this guy, it's kind of crazy. I believe he was A-tier boosted during the UGB season. So that is part 1, meaning it was like 3 months ago or some shit at this point. 4 months ago, maybe. Of the A-tier Annie. And now he's S-tier boosted? A couple months later? Like, hello? We're doing some crazy fucking gymnastics on this guy. I don't know. They love blue androids, man, because you see another blue android who's not even on the fucking list yet, and it's insane what we're doing for these guys, but they love them. Android 13, I mentioned it within talking about Legend Broly, and it's kind of just holding true. Within, I rather more merits to stop a combo earlier on so they can't get their full situation of Cooler Gauge, of the Dragon Balls, of this, that, and the other, than to have it be later on, right? Essentially, that's kind of the debate here. Of 13 could stop a combo earlier on. He's obviously going to support you as well, so you can amplify your Cooler, and clearly his damage will not be the most absurd thing ever, Android 13, sure, but you're trading off your safety merits and your guaranteed safety over your, maybe more damage. I guess rush shielding doesn't really apply to Android 13, but like in a turn it does, because they are not going to rush your team when you have this guy in a pre-revival state. And you can obviously have the potential within, here's the healing, here's the sustain, here's the attrition that this guy can create for the team, and that kind of flows, sure, within Legend Broly, but it's better within this guy because this would make the rush stop, this duoship of the healing, the support, blah, 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 blah. And you keep regurgitating that within your match of these 3 together, and I think this probably is the best team in the game, if not one of the best teams in the game right now. And the fact that you could just forcefully repeat this over and over again, I feel as though is definitely more impactful than what Legend Broly can put up to the table, because sometimes he just will get fooded, he will die. Then you're in a match where you have maybe this as your team, and then you have to rely on Cooler, or you guarantee losing. If they catch you one time, boom, the match over. Like, that's what happens. If this guy were to get revived, then he gets rushed, because you get to choose your rush target at that point. Okay, it's not the end of the world. You could clutch with these two, right? Do this team. But with this team, it just becomes a little bit more hazy, because now you're more susceptible to the rush, and as well, you don't really have any more accessibility than you did with the other team. You actually have less within the safety for yourself. So Android 13 S tier boost, he moving crazy up there. He gets the number 5 spot, and it's fucking insane that this guy is top 5 while being, oh man, S tier boost, the Android 13. I can't believe it. I really can't believe they actually S tier boosted this guy. This is insane. Like, I get this guy S tier. Shit, this guy should be Z tier at this point, to be really frank. But like, this guy, he was just moving mountains. You were running him on your fucking first fucking iterations of the Broly UGB team. It was literally Android 13 as your third over the fucking, rather, I guess Pan dropped in part 2, but even then, people would still run Android 13 over Pan within UGB Broly, and then fucking Android 13. It's insane to me. But nonetheless, we move on into the number 4 of it being Gohan Trunks. I think this unit is super duper slept on, bro. While they don't have the perfect roster for themselves, I'm looking at the teams here, obviously. I think their individuality just shines through too much. It's kind of like a vein to TGB, where like individually, and if Cooler wasn't doing the guarantee, you know, endurance null rush thing, TGB could be higher, obviously, but it just, there's no perfect flow for him, as well as he just doesn't really have a nice setting for himself because of Cooler, right? Obviously, the others below him sure could hurt him, and then even above him could hurt him. But Gohan Trunks, I think they're just TGB on fucking infinite steroids. You look at the units below. This is a half purple. Okay, boom, just murder you. Boom, just murder you. Boom, just murder you. This is a half red. Okay, well, we could just kind of boom, murder you. Okay, boom, murder you. We could do very good things to very high tier units, 2 of which have not even been placed yet. And I think just running something akin to just these two together, and then just, I guess you can't, I guess you could force leader slot, but like, even if you do something like this or something like this, like just forcing the fuck out of it, where you just run Gohan Trunks with UVB and whatever third you really feel the need to. Again, I mentioned this is a team, but again, I don't think TGB is great right now. Honestly, I'd probably opt for more of like a Legend Bardock or Goku Bardock on this team, to be really frank, because you have the guarantee safety while having no endurance on your team. Sure, they both steal rushes for times, but like, still, like, even doing something like this, I'm sure is there. Gohan Trunks is individually just do too much damage. That's just what it is. When you're bursting with them, they're super duper glaze, and they're worth the super duper glaze, unlike a Buu Duo type here. Maybe even a Goku Bardock type, or even a 17 Frieza type. Like, this unit, when run on glaze, which you run with UVB, who could help run that, you know, red future kind of duo ship of Zenkai buffs like Red Zamasu and units akin to that, you have it where this just isn't really something that is debatable. The damage you're going to do to Cooler, you're going to 3-card a Cooler, right? Whether he's neutral or not, you're going to 3-card him. You could 3-card Legend Broly, which that just fucking hurts him. That's been hurting him for a minute now. And it kind of got, you know, passable because TGB, Legend Rose, blah, blah, these other kind of merits around Legend Broly. Now, TGB dipping down, Legend Rose, where the fuck are you? I don't think you can really give Broly that pass anymore. So this unit's just insane damage. Again, maybe their team is not perfection for themselves. Sure, I'll give you that. But their damage is just too much. Every time I fight a Gohan Trunks, I get, like, nervous because I know they're going to just fucking mow through me. So if I don't catch them more, if I don't do the perfect settings, if I don't get my rush out before they start doing their stuff, what am I really going to do besides get mowed down by Gohan Trunks just spamming the fuck out of me? And I even mentioned it where you could can't speak. Touch and talk about Purple Revhon and do something like this. I'm not saying Purple Revhon's great, but it's a safety merit to stop Cooler from destroying your entire fucking life. Obviously, they can tank Cooler being a half-red unit, so it's not like that's too bad for them. They're debuffing Cooler within the big moves where he is going to be uncancelably neutral, sure. But you have that where if they're going to try to rush you, okay, boom. You go to Purple Revhon, Blue FSK, whatever you want at that point. Probably Purple Revhon, to be honest, because you will be running into Gohan, Golden Frieza 17, or Goku Bardock, or Legend Broly. And you just have it where Gohan Trunks can just do their thing. It's stupid, I agree. They probably, like, because of teams, they probably shouldn't be this high, but because their individual is just that strong, I can't see them lower than this. They are just one of the top dogs of the game. If you fight them glazed, you're going to be in a world of hurting. I hope you don't fight them. I fought them a lot last season near the end of it. It was not fun. And now, I mean, I think they just get better. Well, obviously they're half purple, sure. They're also half red, so just destroying Cooler is not, like, impossible. Even if you run something like this, right, of this, literally color countering Gohan Trunks to the full degree, they will tag switch faster than you can switch out and still fucking destroy you. Like, even disadvantage, they could destroy Golden Frieza 17. Even disadvantage, they could destroy Cooler. Especially Android 13 here, they could destroy him as well, so just keep that in mind, man. They are fucking stupid. Respect them. They deserve it. They need it. And we move on into the top 3, with it being 17 Frieza at number 3. Clearly, their value is very high. They actually stay a similar spot to me here because I just think the top 2 are way more oppressive and, you know, meta-defining to the game. And I think units that alter the meta, alter what you're running, are definitely more impactful than units that are just supporting said alterations. Yes, this unit does support said alterations. Obviously, Cooler loves running alongside 17 Frieza. That's the intent of them, as well as UVB. You know, people were running UVB, 17 Frieza, and whatever. Blue Duo, whatever fucking bullshit they want to run. Broly, whatever. And it was doing great. And this unit still does great. They clearly maybe do not have the allowance to gain value to me because they are endurance. Again, they will be a Cooler victim, and that's just the thing. They can also be a UVB victim. This entire list can be Cooler and UVB victims, besides maybe 1 or 2 units on both ends. Like, Broly can kind of, like, hurt UVB to a degree, and then Android 13 can hurt Cooler to a degree. So maybe, again, 1 or 2 anomalies that don't outright get murdered by these 2 for sure, and they're the top 2, but this unit still can't get murdered by both of them. Clearly, that's a thing that has to exist, and that's the thing you have to respect, to where you can't put this unit higher, in my opinion. But still, the support, the damage guard, even, you know, this guy is LOE Cooler, so he actually does get the extra guard there, 10%. That 17 Frieza give the accessibility to long combos. They do combo pretty long, especially get green cards within them, which you can just create for yourself within RNG. Given not consistent, but they can. They have the potency to combo long, which is why I mentioned it there. Consistent or not, it is still there. The team they could run on is anywhere, right? They've been leader slopping the entire time. Right now, you could actually argue, again, maybe some bullshit with like LOE and Metal Cooler and Final Form Cooler of the Ultra, sure, but you could do something like this, obviously. Some, like, you could just do anything with this unit, I feel like. Like, there's literally infinite ways you could run this unit of, like, boom, and then, like, why not do that? Who's gonna stop you, right? What's the issue with doing that? But I digress from there. Again, you know what 17 Frieza are. I don't really have to explain 17 Frieza to you. It doesn't make much sense because stupid value, very good. If you didn't pull them before they left, you should regret it because they were definitely worth it, and there was only one other legend you could have pulled, and that legend is probably not even a top 15 unit right now, so good luck with that. When they return, I wish you pulled them, which will probably be for the New Year's banner, which is not fucking soon. That shit. Almost 5 months away. So good luck with that. But top 3 for 17 Frieza. Again, I don't feel like you need to long-wind explanation. You run them with Cooler, you run them with UVB, you run them anywhere, and then they just do their fucking role of comboing, as well as disrupting, as well as doing decent damage. Like, they're just a better Android 13. And maybe Android 13 could have, like, a leg up because they're revival, but clearly just the overallness of this unit is too strong to dwindle, even though Android 13 is definitely having more safety, technically. Only S tier boost. If he was E tier, maybe you could do something like this, but S tier, he cannot go higher. I mean, I want to put him where he deserves to be, and I think he deserves to be right there. Then we got into the top 2, and I'll just place them together, of it being UVB and Cooler, where UVB is number 2 and Cooler is number 1. So let's talk about UVB first, where UVB goes down because I think Cooler rules the game more. Within UVB, I don't think you were necessarily thinking, hey, I need to run blues 24/7. Sure, no, you were running Legend Rose, you were running Goku Bardock, you were trying these units. You weren't trying to run Legend Bardock, right? You were not trying to force the hand of like, oh, I'm going to run a yellow because this red's not impactful. No. You were running units that were clearly going to be neutral at least to this character. Well, with Cooler, how I perceive it is you have to run a safety or you're just not going to have a time that's really susceptible to being fun. If you don't run Android 13, if you don't run a Metal Cooler, if you don't run a Goku Bardock, if you don't run a Legend Bardock, if you don't run Purple Revhon, if you don't run these characters, I don't know how you really can play PvP because all you're doing the entire match is having a 3v2, and you know that in the back of your head. You know Cooler can just 1v3 a team by just doing normal cards, but then you have the nature where, okay, he just does the rush, and I guarantee die, and I just have a team on purpose that I'm not running someone like this, or someone like this, or that, you know, whatever the fuck between all these characters. It doesn't really benefit you. With UVB, for sure, he could dwindle through blues and just murder them outright and do all that. But even more so, Cooler can murder a UVB. And yes, UVB can obviously do it back. He has type advantage. It's not like it's a fucking, magic trick. But you could also have where it's a yin to a yang, where Cooler is having such an oppression state of what his kit is, to where you have to run other units that are good against him and doing something well off against him of having a revival or something akin to that, to where as well he can destroy UVB. But UVB can just destroy Cooler and just not really make you force run a different team. It's Cooler make you force run different units, different teams within yourself. Again, it's not like UVB's not making you change your units. Again, you're not running a fucking yellow 24/7. Though people were running him a lot against UVB, and this guy's clearly an anomaly situation, but still he is a yellow. I just think the oppression state of Cooler is better. There's nothing bad about UVB. I'm surprised that UVB actually got triumphed here, but it's a very simplistic thing. Cooler has the auto Dooogote win, which is stupid as fuck, which a lot of play right now, and it's been since that update since IT Goku, where you're going to be mid-range and close range more often than not. So that Dooogote win is like much more impactful than like Red MUI having it. It was more like, okay, you can PV the back of the map, just play like a pussy, whatever. Well, with this, you're always mid to close range when you're engaging someone. So that 50-50 of like, oh, is it going to be a strike clash or they're going to try to PV me? People that are fishing for the strike clash is more, okay, well, they automatic win. And, I guess a Cooler to a Cooler one is just a normal clash. But if it's anyone else in the entire game that's meta, you're not going to have an automatic clash. You're going to have the automatic win for yourself. And then, Cooler is just going to move through the mountains, destroy you, and you don't really have anything you can do about it, especially when you're running Cooler alongside this team right here. And it's a similar team to what you run for UVB, to be honest. When you run UVB, you were running him 2x. Here you'd run Cooler 2x. You run him with alongside 17 Frieza, you run him alongside Broly, and it's like, okay, here's my safety, and then here's my safety, and then here's my supporting, and general just helping, and then here's my general helping again on the same team, but like different character as the third, and then here's my main guy. It was the same exact team, but again, Cooler's oppression that he creates, I feel is just too much to not put as number one, despite him being yellow, and I do assume that we're going to get like, Birdku drops next as a legend, and then he's like green or blue, probably lean toward green, to be honest with you here. Because we just got green blue, so we don't know which one's going to be, right? I guess Broly was technically, and Shallot was technically green, but I still think it could be a green. Regardless, a green or blue, and then he has indestructible Mr. Birdku when blah, blah, blah happens, like a Legend Bardock type of indestructible. It's like, well, shit. Cooler clearly dwindles, and that's going to, drop him not too far, but he's definitely going to fall from grace from where he is right now. But we're not there yet. Clearly, UVB, I think by the end of this campaign, probably does end up being better than Cooler, but right now, there's not much you can do. If you aren't running a safety unit, you're just trolling yourself, and that's just kind of what it is at this point. I don't think anything really changes from that. And yeah, that's my top 10 list, with it being Ultra Cooler, number 1, Ultra Vegito Blue, number 2, Legend Gold Frieza 17, number 3, Legend Gohan Trunks, number 4, Legends Unlimited Android 13, number 5, Legend Broly, number 6, Legends Unlimited and Android Red Broly, number 7, Ultra Gogeta Blue 2.0, number 8, Ultra Buu Duo, number 9, number 10 being Transforming Goku Black, Legends Limited, as well as honorable mention of being Metal Cooler LF, as well as Goku Bardock LF. What do you guys think of my top 10 tier list? I'll see you guys in the next one.